Hello, my name is Nora Fang. Today I'm going to talk about the attribute paint node. Let's start with the brush tab. Here is the hotkeys with different types of the brush strokes, and I'm just going with the default hotkey setting. So right now I'm left click and draw on Tommy, and this means I am painting my foreground value, which is 1 on him. And then if I hold shift and draw here, it means I'm smoothing this area I just painted. And if I hold Control and the left mouse draw, it means I'm painting the background value, which is 0 on Tommy. And then if I hold middle mouse and click this orange area, it means the value I picked from this orange area will be assigned to my foreground value. And same as this, if I hold shift and click the blue area, it means the value I picked from this blue area will be assigned to my background value. And then for the eraser, I just hold Control and Shift to clean the stuff I just painted. For the paint mode, when I use over, it means it will use the new value to take replace of the old value. So I'm taking replace the old value with my new value 0.9 right now. And the add means based on the old value over here and keep on adding the new value. And I can keep on adding and adding until I get the result I want. For the maximum, it's going to pick the higher level between the old value over here and the new value over here. So if right now I paint, the red area will not going to change, and only the purple and the blue area will change. And same as this, the minimum is going to pick the lower value between the old one and the new one. So right now, the blue and the purple area will not change, and only the red area will change. And the multiply is also based on the old value and multiply with the new value. And I can do this a lot of time until I get the result I like. Then we have 5 different shapes. I choose volume, which is the default one. It means will affect the points in this sphere volume area. Switch to surface, means will affect the points in the circle area along the surface of geometry, and also it's only paint on connect components. So if I paint on the t-shirt over here, it will not affect to the body part. And switch to the screen shape. So in this shape will also affect the points in the circle area, but this time is in the screen space, which is like the 2D direction. So if I paint here, the backside will also be affected. And then is a fill shape. It means we'll fill the whole geometry with the value over here, and just click once. For the last one, nearest the point, it's useful to do the detail stuff, because when I use it, it just affects the points I select exactly. For the foreground float value and the background float value, it's easily to change over here and switch to the volume shape, and we can find the radius, which is the size of the stroke, and I can just middle mouse and drag to change the size. Also, I can hold Control and Shift left mouse drag to change the size. For the opacity, it means like how much opacity will affect the brush stroke. So right now it's 1, it means don't have opacity at all, but if it's 0.4, it means like only 40% of the paint will be affected to the mesh over here. Then let me put some value to the default. And for the soft edge, if I paint over here, we can see the edge is a little bit blurred because the soft edge default setting is 0.5. If I put this to 1, I will get even more smooth edge. And if I put to 0, I basically don't have any smooth and blur edge at all. Here is 3 very useful functions. Also, we can find them over there. And turn on the contact only. So once it's turned on, it means will only affect the points which are within the same connect components. So for example, the t-shirt, even though I'm still in the volume shape, but when I draw, it will only affect the t-shirt area and not affect with the body at all. For the front face only, if it's turned on, it means will affect the points whose normal are facing the viewer. So for example, the finger. And again, I'm still in the volume shape. If I paint over here, the back side will not be affected at all. For the visible only, once it's turned on, it means will affect the points which are visible from the viewer. So obviously there is a part is hidden by the t-shirt, and from my side I cannot see them. So when I draw, I cannot paint to that area either. For the visibility bias, it means like how much the position of the point should be biased towards the camera. And all of these three functions can use together to get better result. Then for the opacity pressure and the radius pressure, if you use mouse, so don't mind about this at all. But if you're using the tablet, so it means like how much pressure would affect to the opacity and the radius. And 1 means 100% and 0 means nothing. And for the show brush path, if I turn on this, so when I draw, it will show a little red line just to show my brush path. And go above to choose the area to be the group. And right now I can only paint in this group. And if I want to see the area, just turn on display group and it will show up as exactly area about this new group. And for paint on display node, when it's turned on, is just to make sure the points number match between the attribute paint SOP and the display SOP. And for reset all change, if I click here, it means all the stuff would be cleaned and I will lose all the stuff I paint. Let me clean here and go to the attribute tab. So for the default, it only have one attribute called mask, but always we can add different attribute as we want. So for example, CD, and for example, density. So in one attribute paint node, we actually can create a lot of different types of attributes, and the way to switch it is over here and here. So right now it's the mask and the color and the density. And just by switching this, we can see different attributes. Then go to the signature tab. When the enable mirroring is turned on, it means right now my pattern would be symmetrical. And we can always change the original position here and the direction over here. Then go to the recache tab. So the recache function works very well when the original geometry topology gets changed. So you can see when I put the remesh node above there, and the stroke I just painted is like flying everywhere, is obviously not correct. So I just hit recache strokes and then my pattern will come back. And the recache method, we have 4 different ones. The first one, original value, means the paint or the hit location is being recorded when we use the brush strokes to paint on the objects. So this location will help us to find the original stroke. And the ray send rays, it means the ray would be sent from the original screen location and interact with the current geometry. So if the geometry shape not change too much, even it's been remeshed, and this will still give us very good result. And for the primitive UV, it's work when the geometry it's not being remeshed, but if it's being animated, and this will give us very good result, and the strokes will follow the animation. And the texture UV, it's for even the geometry is be remeshed or moved, But if it still keeps the original UV, then the UV information will help us to bring the strokes back. For clear stroke history, if I click this one, it will delete all of my stroke history. And so right now, if I hit recache strokes, I will not have anything over here. And that's all about the attribute paint. Thank you so much for watching.